today's guest is setting out to do something no one's done before: run a 2:18 marathon and break 60 minutes in the Hyrox. It's a huge endurance challenge, and he's doing it whilst working full-time, self-coached, and without a traditional pro setup. Luke Greer is a runner, Hyrox competitor, and one of the athletes selected for the Puma's Project Free, which is helping him prepare for the London Marathon this April. He's competed at high level in running, but his goals aren't about making national teams or getting a contract. They're about pushing his own limits and proving what's possible outside the pro system. We're diving into what it takes to chase big goals for yourself and how he's balancing marathon training with Hyrox, and what impact Project Free has had on his approach. Welcome to the show, Luke.
Thank you very much. Introduction now I'm worried.
No, we're really excited to hear what you've been up to, and I've been following along a bit on social media.
Just started following you like this morning, so I am pretty unaware of what your accomplishments and stuff have been, so this will be great. Just for a little background for me, can you explain what this is?
Yeah. So Hyrox is a pretty new kind of phenomenon. It's massive here in Europe, especially in the UK now. And what it is labeled as is it's a fitness race. And essentially the guy who started it, I listened to a podcast on him a while ago. He said that people in Germany, like 70% of people in Germany said that their sport was fitness. And he was like, that's not a real sport because you can't do it. So his goal was to create something that was fitness and that wasn't CrossFit, where you've got all kind of the big Olympic scary lifts that require a load of technique, but something that pretty much anyone could do, that anyone can get into. So what it essentially consists of is 8 1K runs, and between each run there's a functional movement. So you'll start off with the 1K, and then you have a 1K ski, you have a sled push, a sled pull, burpee broad jumps, rowing, farmer's carry, lunges, and then wall balls. So you've got those 8 runs and you've got those 8 functional movements kind of follow each one. And yeah, I started in September. I'd seen quite a few people doing it, but started in September. And I think it's just something different from just the running stuff. I've never really considered myself a runner. I tried to avoid considering myself a runner. So this is something else. Like there's an additional stuff to it.
That's actually, now that you're saying this is exactly what I wanted to dabble in when I'm done with track. I was like, I think that my body might be better suited for something like this, like a strength movement and running combos. Do you know how many people have done sub 60?
No, I'm not sure. So right now there's 2 divisions. You've got open and you've got pro. And like the open is, the weights are slightly different. So the sled push and pull are 50 kg lighter. Like the wall ball is lighter. The farmers carry, the kettlebells you have to carry, they're all lighter. So for the world champs, the world champs is only pro weight. So this will be my first pro race. In the open race, I've run 56 or 57, I'm not sure. Breaking, I didn't really know what set as a goal. I had no idea what set as a goal because I don't know where I am standard wise against everybody else in the world because I haven't done a pro event. So I was just looking for something that was kind of a round goal, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
An hour. You've got an hour to do it.
Yeah, and I think based off what I've done in the open, it's going to be harder with the weights, but my strength is the running anyway. So yeah, the heavier weights are going to slow me down and it might be harder, but I'm not that good at those things anyway. From what I look at it, it's like if I can do better with the running and I can keep running fast, then hopefully adding an extra 3 minutes won't be too difficult. I don't know. It's just something that I plucked out of the air. I don't know how many people have done it. If you're looking at like the top guys in the world, I think the world record was almost broken a couple of weeks ago, and I think he ran 53:23. So like those are the top guys. And then I think the other guys there's something called the Elite 15, which is the best 15 people in the world at the time. And I think most of them are kind of running 56, 57, 58, somewhere around there.
Okay, so 60 is like, it's good considering you started in September, right? You said September is when you started? Yeah. That's awesome.
I wonder, I've seen a few runners as well doing Hyrox, and I wanted to know what shoes you wear. I've seen some people do carbon plates for the Ks to really utilize on that, and like what do you prioritize?
I used the Puma Deviate, not the Elite one with the full carbon plate, but the one with the half carbon plate.
I think I have that one. I like the Puma Deviate. Yeah.
Yeah, only because you could use an Alpha Fly or you could use a Vaporfly, but I personally find they don't have that much grip. So if you're then trying to push a sled and you don't have grip, you're not really going very far. Whereas the Pumas seem to have a lot better grip. I even think if you just wear a Vaporfly or an Alpha Fly on a run and it's been raining outside, it feels quite slippy for me personally. So I just think the grip on those shoes isn't great. Whereas the Deviate seem to have. I haven't tried the Elite ones.
Some people really utilize it for the Ks, but then when it comes to like the wall toss, or I think the pull down one, they find that you're suddenly like rocking.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I've literally not tried any other shoe. I've done four of them now, two singles, two of the doubles. So you can do doubles, you can do mixed doubles, you can do doubles with the same gender or whatever. And you both have to do the runs, but you can split the stations in half, or you can split the stations however you want. And I've only worn that one shoe. That's probably because I'm too tight to buy another pair of shoes that might do better for me.
These shoes are expensive, and if it's
No.
worked, then it works. Well, like whilst we're on the Hyrox topic, like you said as well, we are seeing more and more runners start to take it on. And why do you think that is?
I think the main bulk of the sport at the beginning, I might hurt some feelings, but it's kind of like the gym bros, big guys who they're good at those functional movements, or they think they are, or whatever. And that's kind of initially where people in the sport have come from. But I guess as it's got bigger, runners like me have looked at it and they've gone, well, I can hold a K pretty easily. Like if I go out and train, I can. That's not something that's when you've run low 14s for the 5K, you look at a 320 or a 330 and you go, that's not too bad. Not that I actually held a 320 or a 330 in the Hyrox stool, because your heart rate skyrockets and you feel horrible. So it's harder than it looks. But I think that running side of it, if you talk to most people who have done one, they will say it is majority of it's a running race. And I think especially in the open weight, you can get away with not being that strong because yes, it's heavy. Some of the bits are heavy, but it's not so heavy that a normal person can't push it or can't do those things. Whereas I think once you move to kind of the pro weight, it is then a case of, okay, you do have to be strong enough to be able to do these things. There is actually a real strength element to it. And someone like me who isn't as big or as strong as these other guys, that is somewhere where I'm going to struggle. But for the open, I think it really is a running race. If you can hold a good pace, that's where you're going to make up the most amount of time, because obviously you're running for 25 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is. There's a lot more space to improve than if you're rowing for 4 minutes. You might make 10 seconds somewhere, but that isn't going to change your race hugely.
And it's interesting because what you said, it's like it sounds like people that are in kind of the mid distance who are really strong would excel in Hyrox. But you're doing a marathon and this, and I like when I think of marathoners, I'm not gonna think that they would be doing a bunch of strength stuff to train for this. So I think that's where obviously this is very unique. Yeah, because I see, or steeplers. I mean, we're both steeplers. Stevie, you'd probably be great at Hyrox too. It's like very strength based. Yeah, 3K is kind of mid distance.
I think, yeah, for middle distance people is probably a really good event. But I think the people who most likely, if they really catch on to it, is triathletes. They'll have a huge, because they've got a great aerobic base, but they also have to be so strong from the swimming and the biking. So I think that is triathletes. If there's a couple of people I think who are from a triathlon background who are doing it now and really doing well, and I think those guys would probably benefit the most, or have the kind of already be at a level that's going to help them compared to runners, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's true. I would think that triathletes would maybe decide between, maybe if I guess they get tired of doing that. It's expensive. We talked about how expensive triathlons were. I'm assuming Hyrox is not as much because you obviously don't need a bike and you don't need to, I guess, pay for like this big course shutdown. It's inside, right?
Yeah. So I actually think it's quite expensive. I don't know. Maybe again I'm just cheap.
Still.
Well, we don't have the experience, so we don't know.
So for most events, if you want to go as a single, is £120, which is probably like $150.
Okay.
Which for me personally, I think doing an hour's an hour's thing it is quite expensive. But again, I guess they are shutting down a whole that it's usually in like a big warehouse, and they have to rent all the equipment. They have to do all these things. So it's not cheap if you want to do multiple of them. And then even if you want to do a doubles, it's, I think when I did it with my sister, it was we paid £100 each.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're half the price. You still pay the majority of what a regular ticket would be, but it doesn't come along with, obviously, buying a bike is like thousands of dollars or all that. Or
I guess so. Entry fees are are up there.
Yeah,
I definitely consider that expensive for entry fees, but
I think running events we're still at I think around $50 to enter. And then triathlons, when I've talked to people, or just bike races, I mean, I've heard $500 to $1,000 to enter for triathlons before, for the big ones. Maybe it's Ironmans too, is what I'm thinking of. Those are obviously like way more expensive. 150 is significant, and you're not cheap. I would consider that significant as well.
Yeah. Do you have to pay for the World Championships? Because you obviously qualify for that. Is it?
Yeah, so the World Champs, to qualify for the World Champ is based off position and time mostly, but the way I qualified, if you win your age group at an event, you qualify for the World Champs. And then based on how many people are at the event is how many it goes down. Because obviously at London, I think in my age group or in the men's open, there was like 2,000 people. And if you go to Poland or you go to somewhere else, there might only be 500 people. So more people would then qualify from London than they would from Poland. But in terms of cost, you still have to, I'll be honest, I couldn't believe how much to enter the World Champs. I almost didn't do it because it was expensive. It was double. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like $250 to enter for the World Champs, for something that you've qualified for. And I was like, that's a lot of money.
What I was thinking. You've done the hard work, and they're gonna still take more money.
And I was very close to being like, I'm not doing that. But then I remembered I had some money in an American bank account still, and I was like, I'll just pay that because I won't feel that one. I won't even know it's gone.
There you go.
That's good. That's good. Good to know. So, what does a typical training week look like? Because you're obviously training for the marathon as well, which, God, that already takes up enough time as it is to train for a marathon.
Yeah. So, right now, obviously, the focus is more the marathon because it's the one that comes up first. Mm-hmm. And I think that goal might be more important for me right now. Because I think once, I've said it quite a few times, I think if I go under sort of 220, I'm done with running. Like I think that's me done. I don't need to do anymore.
So we're trying to end your running career.
Exactly. So yeah, a typical week is Monday, usually just an easy run somewhere. I think tomorrow I've got 10 miles. And then I'll be in the gym in the evening, and I've got someone helping me out with that stuff because weight stuff goes beyond me. So it's a lot. Right now, we're kind of in the strength building phase of it. So it's trying to build as much strength without putting much bulk on, because like you've said, the two don't really combine very well in terms of you can't really be too bulky if you want to run fast in the marathon. But if I want to do well in the Hyrox, I do have to put on some bulk somewhere. So that's the balancing act. And I think the fastest guy right now who is doing very well at Hyrox, but also has done a marathon. His name's Jake Dearden. He's run 2:28 in the marathon, but he's also run like 57 for a pro Hyrox. So that's kind of the guy who's done both, and he's done quite well. But yeah, so Monday is easy run and weights. Tuesday again, easy run. Wednesday is a workout day. So this past week I did 3x5 mile.
Yeah, I saw that reel that you posted where you're like, Coach Luke doesn't like athlete Luke right now. Yeah. I'm like, this is why I don't coach myself. That's
the thing. Like, I write these plans. I wrote this plan before I started this marathon blog. And at the time, I'm like, that sounds like a great session. I'm going to do that. Like, I'm sure that'll be fine. And then it gets to it and I look at it and I'm like, I don't know whether I can do this today. This is crazy.
I couldn't coach myself because Coach Stevie would give athlete Stevie a rest day like every day. I need someone to tell me.
Yeah, this past Wednesday was 3x5 mile, which was a hard session, but got to the end of it and I was like, okay, it went well, so happy days. Thursday is off day from running and I just do weights. Friday is easy day. Saturday, I'll either do an easy run. Sometimes I'll throw a park run in there just to. I like to see what running fast actually is. I think when you run a marathon, you think, oh wow, this pace is really quick. But then if you do a 5K or you do something else, because I don't really do any speed work. I don't put any speed work in my plan at all. Which there's going to be coaches who might shout at me and say you don't know what you're doing. But whatever.
That'd be my coach. My coach would tell you that you don't know what you're doing. We do a lot of speed work, but I'm also trying to get faster in the miles, so that's a whole nother issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think for the marathon, I don't run enough miles. I think to be able to put a speed session in there. I'm only I think this week was 70 miles, which is the most amount of miles I'll do. And I don't have the miles to be able to chuck a speed workout in there. I'd rather just do easy ones. I find that I don't know if this is right. I'm kind of just winging it. Is I just run my easy runs a little bit quicker because I'm not doing the 100 miles, the 110 miles, or all the miles that these other guys who are probably trying to run sub 220 are doing. I generally just try to. I don't think about it. It's not a purposeful thing, but I'm running my easy runs at like between 6 and 6:20, 6:15 per mile, just so that I'm getting a little bit more stimulus than just going out and running 7:30s. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'll
that's
chuck.
definitely different. Yeah.
But yeah, I might chuck a 5K in there. Like next week, I think I've got a 5K just to feel what running fast actually is. So then when you run, like you run a sub 5 minute mile, and then when you go back to trying to do the 5:20s, you go, okay, this is quick, but it's not as quick as what I was running last week when I was doing the 5K.
That is
So what?
yeah, that's what I did this weekend because my coach, we're both training for steeple. I'm training for steeple. I did an 800 and a 1500 meter double, and I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? Like, I came in last in the first heat, but I still came in last. I was pretty far behind, and I'm not running as fast as like the people who are winning. It's like because when you get to that pace, you're running 4:30 pace 1600 for a half mile, and then the next day you run whatever a 4:45 mile pace. Once you get to a steeple, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm chilling. This feels great. There's definitely a plus to doing that. Yeah.
Please, nobody quote me on any of this stuff because this is the stuff that I do
You're
for
being
me.
recorded. You're all
Yeah.
quoted. It's all quoted.
But no one take this as advice. This is just Luke advice to Luke.
Okay.
I think the sessions, and I think if you run and you do the sessions, you're going to get better. Your body's going to get fitter. You're going to improve. I think the biggest thing that I focus on, and the reason why I do a lot of the sessions, is for my head. And it's like if I can do this, if I can convince myself in my head that I can do this, then the body will kind of follow. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the training does need to be specific. It does need to have a purpose. There does need to be splits and times that you're trying to hit. But I think overall for me, if in my head I can be confident enough that I'm going to do it, most likely the body's going to follow. And I think that's something that I've followed for a lot of my running career. I might not have been the fittest person in a lot of the races where I've done well, or I probably shouldn't have won some of the races that I've won, or I shouldn't have been in the position that I have, but mentally I've been stronger than other people that has kind of allowed me to end up in the positions that I have. So it's just something that I've tried to pull through with the training, and I try and if I'm coaching other people, I try to implement that in the coaching too. But I don't know how successful it is because obviously that's from me, and sometimes it doesn't work for other people. So
I definitely agree with your approach. Yeah.
There's a study that confirms that my college coach would always talk about. He's like, they took two groups of people and they were like, they made this group not trust their training. They're like, you're probably not doing the right thing. You needed to do this or this. This other group, they did the exact same training. They said, you're doing the perfect training for obviously the group that was told that they were doing what they were supposed to got fitter and ran faster. So it's a real thing. I think people can take that advice. I'm quoting you on that. So
if it goes wrong, you can't come back and sue me because this was Luke advice to Luke.
Okay, disclaimer: you can't sue Luke.
You can't sue him. I think, like, you spoke about, on one of your reels, you spoke about balance, and that's something that I put down to my own longevity in the sport, is being able to balance having fun and things outside of running and then training hard.
I think, and listening to how it is with this sport, it sounds like you get to have kind of the best of both worlds in that, where you get to go into the gym and do something different. Like, would you agree that that breaks it up a little bit mentally for you, instead of just like you're running all the time, you know, that's it?
I think like I said earlier, I've never really considered myself a runner. For full background, I went to university in America initially as a goalkeeper in soccer. Like that was what I wanted to do. I was a soccer player. Yeah, things didn't go well, and I ended up running, which has been a blessing. It's obviously something that I really enjoyed and I've done well with. But I've never really truly enjoyed that grind of training and running. Most of the time, it doesn't fill me with joy. I think one of the main reasons why I run and why I train and why I do these things is I enjoy winning, I enjoy running fast, I enjoy doing those things. And I think obviously if you want to do well, if you want to achieve those things, you have to do the training. And I think it might be the wrong way around. I think if you look at the psychologists and the studies and all that kind of stuff, they say that you can't just do it for external goals or external whatever it is, but it's something that keeps me going. And I know that if I don't have a goal in front of me, there's a high chance that I'll just stop what I'm doing. Like there was 6 years where I just didn't really run. I just didn't really do anything because I had no motivation, no goal, nothing pushing me on. So I think
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think with the running and with the marathon, like I think running sub 220 would be a really cool goal, and it'd be great. And the reason why I say I think I'll stop afterwards is because going any further than that, any quicker than that, I think would take over my life. It turns into something that I don't know whether I'd want to do. I don't think I'd love it anymore. I'd be chasing something just for the sake of it. And I think Hyrox is, like you said, it is a nice balance of, you could do the running bit and I can focus on something that I'm really good at in terms of the running, but there's also this other unknown of, okay, I've got to do something where I'm not quite as good at it. I have to learn how to be good at it. It does break it up. It is something completely different. I think it's cool to challenge yourself and push yourself in a different direction that isn't something that you're 100% great at. I think most runners would probably say that the gym is one of their least favorite things to do. They feel awkward.
I love the gym. I'm telling you, man, this is what I'm going to do next.
I think
motivating me to switch.
Yeah.
I think you do well.
Yeah,
I think you should give it a go. Yeah. Well, Luke, this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because you said you were like, oh, I don't know, I'm not like the other people we've had on here. And I was like, but we want to know, like, I know you personally, so I know that you've never really considered yourself a runner, yet you've done some great things. You've gone to NCA, D2, nationals, and I've seen kind of the way you've drifted in and out of it, and it's usually because of a goal that you've set yourself, or even just the community like that running fit brings.
Where did you go to college here?
Initially I was at Carson Newman, which is a small university in Tennessee, but it was in the same conference as Queens. And then I didn't run at Queens, I just coached at Queens. So for the last 2 years, I helped coach at Queens, but stayed on the
Luke
east side.
Luke was my assistant coach.
Okay, and D2 national qualifier.
American.
I went for cross country. I finished eighth at D2 nationals cross country, and then in the 5K and 10K outdoors, I think I finished 5th in the 10K outdoors.
Sweet.
That's awesome. But he's not a runner.
He's not a runner. Definitely not a runner.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to your kind of attitude to training, because I feel like I definitely need a goal as well, and I would say the goals come before the love of running itself. I think if one question that people have asked me and I've asked others is that if there was no races, would you continue to run? And for me, the answer is no. Whereas I have very close friends that's like, yes, I would keep going every day because of the joy of it.
No, I could
Yeah.
not be like a hobby jogger. I am like a competitor through and through. I need to have like some goal, even if it's not directly racing people. Like, yeah, obviously you have this goal. It's like I would have to do that in order
Mm.
to stay motivated.
I think one of the things, obviously, we're running, and it's quite cliche, but it's like you do have to find your why and you have to know your why. And I think for me that's something that I found that I know it's either having goals, winning races, like running fast, like those are the why for me. It's not because I wake up in the morning, I go, well, I love running. That's not my why, and I'd be lying to myself if it was. But I think for motivation and for to keep going and keep doing it, once you find your why and you understand it, you hold on to it. Like this morning, probably the worst 20 miles I hated every second of it. But in my head, I was like, you need to get through this because you've got these goals coming up. If you don't get through this and you give up on this one, then it just opens up this whole slope of I give up on the next one. I don't want to run the next one. I don't want to do the next session. So I think once you, yeah, as cliche as it is, once you find that why and that reason what you're doing it for, hold on to it as best you can because that will it's kept me going and it's allowed me to realize that even though I've drifted, like Stevie said, I've drifted in and out of the sport and a lot of times that has come down to failure. I will try and make a comeback, and I'll have a broad goal, and then I fail, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like this is rubbish. I don't like failing.
Yeah.
But I think as you grow and you mature, you go, okay, I'm not going to reach every goal, but I at least have to set it, and I at least have to give myself something that I'm going to try and reach. And if I don't, try again next time, or push again, or move the goalpost, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think people have the misconception that it's always going to be fun. It's like, well, it's not fun anymore. I'm not going to do it, but that's kind of part of the having the goal part. If you're not pushing through discomfort, then you're probably not setting a high enough goal for yourself in the
Mm-hmm.
first place.
So,
So I was going to ask, so you work full time also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you do?
So currently, I have a fancy title, but that's only given to me because my best friend runs a company. So, but I'm head of partnerships for a student travel and events company. So basically, we help organize trips for societies and sports clubs at university here in the UK. If they want to go to Krakow for a weekend, then we organize that for them. And it's fine. Like but it is a 9 to 5. You are sat there in the office, and obviously recently, I mean, it's nicer now because it's staying lighter longer. Having to wake up. Initially, when I started marathon training, I was waking up at 6:30, and I was just going for a run. I wasn't fueling. I wasn't doing any of those things because I've never done it. Because I'm like, I can get through this. But I quickly realized that trying to run 12 miles at marathon pace, having done a workout in the gym the day before or 2 days ago, and then not eating anything, I would get to 5 miles and I'd feel absolutely terrible. And it would be a waste of a session. So I started waking up at 5:30 in the morning, eating a bagel, kind of sitting around waiting and being like, okay, and then going out at 6:30 and doing it. And it wasn't, it's not my idea of fun. I much prefer sleeping. But
me
I
too.
think those are the sacrifices you have to make. I think at the end of the day, if you wanna be successful and you want to do it, and with a 9 to 5, obviously you've got that choice to make where you go, I'm going to stop running, or you try and find solutions around it. And now that it's getting lighter, I can go after work, which is so much nicer. I much prefer to run in the afternoon. I just feel a lot more awake. But if it was that I had to go at 6:30 in the morning again, then so be it.
I still don't understand morning runners. I'm the same way. I can't do it in
Yeah.
the morning. I mean, I've tried. I've really tried, but I on the last podcast I said that I started working full time, but people at my job get there at like 8 a.m., which technically would be better for me because then I work like 8 to 4, and then I have all but, from 4 to 8 basically to get
Mm-hmm.
my run in. But it's definitely a balancing act. It sounds like you've kind of figured out a way to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I get through it, and then if somebody asks me to do something at work, it probably takes me 20, 30 seconds longer to process kind of what they're asking me to do and how to do it.
Well, that's
But
funny.
overall, yeah, I think overall, like I said, if you want to do it, there are ways to get around it, and I think sometimes there is that excuse of time. People go, I don't have time to do it. If you want to do it and you really want to chase it, there is always time. You can always get it done. As much as I didn't want to wake up.
With a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The marathon, the training is just long, especially when you're coming from like a middle distance or like 5K, 10K background. Yeah, you go out, you do a 5 mile tempo or whatever, and yeah, that feels long. And you go, that was a long session. And now you're moving on to doing 3 by 5 mile marathon pace. And it's not that the marathon pace is massively quick. It is just a slog. It's just a long session. It's just a lot of running. And you also have to find that time of like, I'm going to go out for a session. It's not going to take me an hour and a half. Like, this is a session that's going to take me 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get in. And obviously with a job that there's not always all that time. So yeah, you have to just figure out. Most of the time I finish my runs, I'm in the shower, we're then walking to work. I grab, Lindsay, you probably don't know what a Greg's is, but we stop at Greg's. I get 2 sausage rolls from Greg's, and I can't wait to get out of that Greg's and chow down on that sausage roll.
I miss Greg's.
Now I'm curious.
So I got Greg's after doing the British Olympic trials this year.
Greg's?
I was like, I'm going Greg's.
I'm missing out, man.
It's up there with the best.
I always have running stuff in my car because if my plans, I have shoes, I have every article of clothing, because if I'm like, nope, I'm not running in the morning, everything is there just in case wherever I am, I'm like, I need to get a run in. There it is. Like that's where I'm at with my timing right now.
To do it. It definitely makes a difference, and like I think you really have to, like you said, prioritize, because I know when I first joined the Mammoth Track Club, I was working full-time. But you really notice the difference, because I would go, by Wednesday, I would be completely exhausted. And we had to make that my rest day, because I would do a 10-hour shift. And I was like, I just can't do anything else.
10 hours.
Yeah,
No
I was lucky. I was lucky with my work schedule that the manager was quite into running and is friends with my coach, so I was able to do 10-hour shifts on days when it was just a run, and then if it was a workout day, it's like a 6-hour shift. If it was come in late, that type of thing. So that really helped. Yeah, you've really got to focus on the recovery and I tried to sit down at work as much as I could, and that was not what they wanted.
I
think
normal, like, why are you sitting down?
Yeah.
The recovery thing is, I think, again, that's something that, like, if you want to watch TV, I'll just get the foam roller out and I'll be sat in front of the TV foam rolling, or I'll do some sort of activation exercises while I'm sat there watching the TV. So again, there's ways that you can fit in and do stuff around it. Like, I'll be working and then I had a bit of an Achilles problem, and I would stand up and I would start doing like calf raises on the step, and my co-workers would be looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, I've got some Achilles problems.
I used to do that. I kind of want to know more about this Puma Project Free thing, which I don't really know much about, other than I've seen a few athletes kind of similar level to you, where it's maybe their second marathon they're doing and they don't have a sponsor outside of it, but they've got some big goals in the marathon, and as far as I know, it's supposed to give you some support that is pro-like.
Yeah, so I think it's really cool they've done. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very, very good idea, and it's nice for someone like me who, I don't know, sub-elite level, who's tight and doesn't want to pay for shoes and gear. It's a perfect thing. But essentially, it's 100 runners from the London Marathon and 100 runners from the Boston Marathon. And I've been given a t-shirt, 2 pairs of shoes. And we were supposed to get Morton gels, but some sort of mailing problem, because they were mailing it from the US. It didn't work.
Problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the best part of it, man. The market.
Yeah, that's what I was excited about, and I'm stuck with the ones that I get from the supermarket. So then they've sent us some stuff, and they've had some talks. Like, there's a psychologist on there, and they do like the mental performance side of it. We've had some pro athletes that they've had talks with, just so they can talk us through what their training looks like. it looks like, and how they're preparing for the Boston or the London Marathon or whatever it is. And then I think the main cool thing about the program is they're giving us their latest running shoe, which isn't released yet. So I'm technically not allowed to say too much about it, otherwise I get cancelled. But it's supposed to be super duper fast shoe. If you break your PB by 3 minutes, you get given $3,000. If in the program you break your PB by the most amount of time, you get given another $3,000. And if you run the fastest time out of everybody that's in the program, you get another $3,000. You could potentially earn $9,000 from this event.
Big payday for someone.
Yeah, but I mean, I think overall it is a cool program. I think there's like kinks that they obviously need to work out, and it's not. This is the first time they're doing it, and I don't know whether they'll do it again. I've got no idea. But I think for people like myself who don't have a sponsor, who I was literally about to go out and buy Alpha Flies for however much they cost. So I was extremely pleased that I didn't have to go do that. And there's some meetups that they're doing in London, and there's stuff like that is going on. So they are trying to create some sort of community, and it is a cool program, and I do like what they're trying to do. And obviously I appreciate it immensely because of the gear, the shoes, that kind of stuff, and hopefully it will help me on race day. Come race day, I hope to run at least 3 minutes quicker than my PB, so I can earn that three grand.
Hey, I do want to run a marathon. I do. Just give it time.
I do, and then I see the training that my teammates do, and I'm like, do I want to do a marathon? But London sounds like one that I'd love to do, honestly.
You're too fast right now. You gotta wait a little bit, Stevie. You're quick.
I'm still trying to get over the length of the 5K and a 10K, and I'm only just starting
That's right.
It must be going well because suddenly I thought, okay, I can do a 5K.
After running the,
but that's still
10K, it's nothing.
Yeah, after a 10K, it's alright. Okay.
Here's one for you, Luke. There are a lot of people who feel like they're not professional or like their goals don't matter. Do you have like advice or like a motivational thing that's helped for you? Because I think there's a lot of people, I'm not winning national championships, but I'm trying to just like make it out here. I have personal goals, but is there anything that you would kind of like a mantra for yourself or for other people throughout your goal chasing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing you have to remember is your journey, and you have to try and follow. And at the end of the day, running or most sports, it's you versus you. It doesn't really matter what anyone else is doing unless you're winning elite events or you're going to the Olympics. But that's still you versus you. You have to look back at what you've done and put it into perspective. Last year, I ran 2:29 for the marathon, and that was really great for me. But now I'm trying to get better. I'm looking at the sessions. Some sessions I'm like, oh, that wasn't the best session, but I'm comparing it again to what I did last year, and it puts it into perspective for me. So I think don't worry about what other people are doing, because they don't know what you're doing. They don't know what your goals are. I've also found that in the gym as well. The gym was scary because people lift heavy weights in there, and then I go in there and I don't lift very heavy weights, and it's quite intimidating. It is. It's intimidating when you go in there and you see these guys with loads of weights on their bar, and then I go in there and I've got one little plate on there. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But it's my journey, like. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, it's my journey. Is where am I going with it, and how is it improving me? And I think that's the same with running. It doesn't matter. Thousands of people that run, and there's thousands of people that do whatever it is. What somebody success for somebody is running a 2:05 marathon. Success for another person is running a 3-hour marathon. And I think just remember that it's what you're trying to do. It's not what they're trying to do. It's not what your neighbor's trying to do. It's literally how are you going to go about achieving your goal, and what is it, and be happy with when you achieve that damn goal, because so many people are like, I've done it, what's next? And yes, you do want to look at what's next, but appreciate what you've achieved, because obviously it was an important goal to you to begin with. So if you don't appreciate that then it was a waste of time, I think, in my opinion. You have to look at it and go, wow, I'm so proud of myself. Now, like, these are all the things that I did, that I improved, and I've made it here. Now, obviously, look at the next step, but don't forget that you achieved that one thing that you were looking to do in the first place.
That's good, because so many times have, like, myself and others, like, finished in a PB race, and they're like, oh, could have gone faster, should have gone faster, and what's next? But yeah, like, you've just run your best ever. I like the stuff you've been sharing on social media. When I saw that you started to post a bit more again, I was like, yes, Luke's back. Lindsay, in the UK, like, club running is really big. Most runners will be part of a athletic club, and it's kind of the pathway into running. School's not really where you do the bulk of your running and racing. Whether you want to be recreational or you want to go for your own goals, whether you're a pro runner, and to see kind of the middle ground of just like people trying to do that everyday training and fitting it around life, and that kind of behind the scenes is pretty fun.
I would appreciate more of a club mentality in the US. Maybe it's starting to show up a little bit on the professional level, but yeah, definitely not to the level that you guys have there, or had.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a few kind of, I'm seeing the introduction of a bit more of the middle level clubs in the US now, but it's, not as quite as many as the UK has available.
Luke, also, since we've been talking about your social media, where can people follow you and support your challenge? Do you have an Instagram?
I have an Instagram and a TikTok, but the TikTok is TikTok's just the same thing as what I chuck on the Instagram, so I'd rather you just follow the Instagram. It's just Luke Greer.
Luke Greer _ Okay. And obviously we'll tag you in the podcast when we post it, so they'll see that. And
Wicked.
Yeah, I'm following you now, so I'll definitely be checking in. And I'll tell you when I do my first Hyrox competition. I'll be like, I ran 2 hours.
No, they're gonna have you on like the Hyrox main page after you win it. They're gonna be like, wow, this runner's come out of nowhere.
Lindsay, I do think you could do good in it. Yeah.
We'll see. Like you're gonna see my broad shoulders. It's gonna be I'm gonna be a completely different person after this. I swear.
If you do get into it, we'll have to do a doubles together. We'll have to jump in, and because the running is your strength too, so we can do a little doubles together.
That, I think you guys are gonna do great at that. That's good. I want to do it now.
And then we can all go to what's it called? I already forgot. Gerald's. I forgot what it's called. The breakfast place.
You're Greg's.
I don't know. Greg's.
Not
Gerald sounds more British, I guess.
Greg's.
Yeah, I think we may have hyped it up a little bit too much for you, Lindsay. But...
I don't think you can overhype Greg's. I don't think you can. True. I think you get there and it's exactly what it says on the tin.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, well, on that note, thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, we're glad that you could come on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I've had a lot of fun. I appreciate it. I listened to all the rest of your episodes, so I was excited to come on it.
Yay!
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Luke.
Wicked. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.